Leadership in the creative space can be challenging. As creative leaders, we know how non-collaborative visions, opinions, and ideas can derail a team, causing lots of frustration. The agency team typically consists of producers, designers, and technical people, all led by the executive producer. The EP is savvy enough to bring together the best and brightest team members, but frequently takes the creative reins and pushes their own ideas and agenda onto the rest of the team and the client, without regard for what the others think, creating tension, low morale, and ultimately not the best solution for the client or the project. A better approach is when all team members feel that their ideas are welcomed, respected, and molded into a cohesive and creative, successful project. Shut Up and Create dictates that the EP assess the needs from the highly specialized team, plant the seed for the vision, and then shut up and provide the team empowerment and support to do what they do best: create. This creative leadership approach is not without growing pains and tough learnings. It takes a strong, confident leader who communicates clearly and directly, creating an atmosphere of trust and is emotionally intelligent enough to shut up when it's time. Shane Chaney has been my partner in crime for nearly half my career. He's the technical and video director for all projects and consults on show design. And in his spare time, he's bass and vocals for a punk band, Swear Jar, out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me.
So how does Shut Up and Create resonate with you and your role in all this?
The best thing that can happen for me to be able to do my job as well as possible is for them to let me know ahead of time what it is we're trying to accomplish, get my feedback on how I think we should accomplish that, and for them to trust my judgment as we go into the execution and kind of stay out of the way until I need them.
Let's switch gears and apply the Shut Up and Create theory to a project. How something has morphed from maybe just a so-so project to like something pretty great. And it doesn't just have to be on site, because you're at least in my projects always heavily involved in the design process. Mm-hmm. and how that gets translated throughout the production process into the execution.
I was thinking about KBA a little bit.
From the get-go, the design process for the technology was pretty heavily involved. Mm-hmm. And when we got on site, we needed some workarounds.
It became an exercise in agility. It really did.
Yeah.
For not just me, but basically everyone on the crew. There were a lot of reasons to technically vote against what we ended up doing on that show. But in execution, on site, once we were there, it was really the only solution that made sense. We all had to acknowledge that what came to the room, what had been planned on paper, wasn't going to give us an effective execution. And then we all had to individually kind of come up with a vision that was both coherent with your overarching vision and able to be executed with what we had there on site. It was kind of a challenge.
Normally, I would be the chief storyteller, but you ended up being the chief storyteller because I wasn't even there. And so like you had to, we did this workaround, but ultimately all of that was left in your hands to execute and to lead.
And I think the only reason that worked is because we had spent enough time discussing the original vision as a group. You were listening to our input on what would and wouldn't work. We all came together with the same priorities because of that. We were working with the mindset of, will this get us what Sue wants? And I feel like the whole crew was doing that. And in doing that, that empowered us to be very choiceful with our ideas and have free reign to run when we had a good idea. And just that mere acknowledgement that we're all kind of on the same page trying to accomplish the same goal really let the crew members maximize their individual roles in that situation.
So
for sure.
Feeling empowered, feeling supported.
Very much so. And I think that's a situation where that was essential to what we were doing, because you were not able to be there during most of the execution of it. And had we not approached that project with that mindset, it would have been another one of those, it's not necessarily a failure, But I have trouble calling it a success too, just because we just got through it.
So at the crux of Shut Up and Create are these three things we're talking about. The empowerment, the support, and the trust, right? The situation that you and I normally work in together doesn't apply to everybody. A lot of people don't come up through those ranks. So like, talk a little bit about that and what kind of guidance you can give.
Yeah, the whole concept we're talking about, it's not an across-the-board solution for everybody. It's a solution you want to try to shoot for. You got to build trust. You also have to act with trust. You have to execute trust.
Yes.
I have worked with many producers who I think trusted me. But when it came down to the wire, I feel like their insecurities got in the way of that trust and caused them to not necessarily act like they trusted my judgment. And I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It does.
And finally, let's talk to the man behind the Kentucky Broadcasters Association, CEO Chris Winkle.
We did, in fact, raise the bar. We created an entire new culture and a new environment for KBA conference attendees. And I don't know that there's anything that I would do differently. However, you are forcing me to think about things differently for this year's conference. So just when things got comfortable, now we're going to shift gears and we're not going to do things like we did them last year.
Perhaps the people who deserve the most gratitude tonight, I mean, good grief, look at this video wall. Sue Brady, Jamie Miller, and the entire team of Badass Meetings. Thank you so much for making this awards night and our conference so much better than it ever has been.
Shut Up and Create allows the client to get exactly what they want, but more importantly, the client gets exactly what they need in order to achieve their goals.
I think your message here is really important, and I think if people take the time to really digest it and think about how can I apply this to what I do, I think it could really benefit a lot of people. And it's a way to get others on board with your vision and kind of move it from your vision to our vision, right?
Yeah. And achieve better results.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanks.